What's up, daters? Have you ever met somebody you thought was just a friend, but after some time decided to make it a full send? Well, today we're talking with my friend Phuong, who explains why having two dating apps isn't always wrong. Tune in to see what's going on Up to Date. Everybody, welcome back to Up to Date. I'm your host, Chelsea Texera, and today we are excited to have Phuong TRAN on the show. She is a paralegal, a wanderlust lover, and a dating app success story. Phuong, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers. Woo!
Oh, so refreshing.
I needed that right about now.
Yeah, me too.
So, Phuong, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Are you from San Diego originally?
No, so I'm not. I'm actually a refugee from Vietnam, but I was born in Thailand. So that kind of throws people off a little bit. So I lived in the refugee camp in Thailand where I was born until I was about 4. And then we moved back to Vietnam for only a few months. And then that's when my parents and I immigrated to the US, and then we came to San Diego. So I've lived in San Diego for pretty much most of my life. So I would consider San Diego my home.
Yeah, totally.
Local, pretty much. Yeah.
Very cool. Okay. So Vietnam and Thailand. So which one of those did you say you spent more time in, do you think?
So I spent more time in Thailand, but I don't remember much because I was so young and because my family were Vietnamese. So I visit Vietnam a lot more than I visit Thailand. So I know more about, Vietnam and visit Vietnam a lot more.
Okay. So do you have brothers and sisters as well?
Yes, I have one younger brother.
Okay. Very cool.
But he was born here, so.
Okay. That little rascal. And so how old is he?
He just turned 21 yesterday, actually.
Oh my gosh. Well, happy birthday. What's his name?
His name is Albert.
Happy birthday, Albert. Cheers to you.
Cheers.
Woo! Love that. So we are in semi-quarantine still. So what did he do to celebrate his 21st?
Yeah, so we just had a family dinner. I brought my boyfriend, he brought his girlfriend and our parents, and that's about it. We just had a family dinner. There's not really much that we could do because of COVID, so.
I mean, if there's a will, there's a way, but we'll go with that. That's great. A nice little mellow 21st birthday. Okay. What did he drink before that at all?
No, he didn't. So he took his first shot with so his first shot was by himself, but then later on, the family, the 4 of us, we took a shot to celebrate his day.
What did we drink a shot of?
It was just soju. We went to a Korean barbecue place, so it ended up being soju.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice little, that's like an easer in there shot.
Yeah,
so that's perfect.
Pretty much.
Okay, so you said you're a paralegal. So how did you get into that? And tell us about it.
Yeah, so weirdly enough, I actually knew that I wanted to be a lawyer when I was in the 7th grade. But being an Asian, growing up in an Asian immigrant household, there's the peer pressure of being a doctor and, going into the medical route field. And so I switched gears and once I got into high school, I started focusing on, getting into college, going to the medical field route. And so when I started college, I actually majored in molecular toxicology because I wanted to be like a coroner. I know it sounds really weird, but that's what I wanted to do. And it was a way that something that I enjoyed and I thought would make my parents happy because it's in the medical realm. But unfortunately, after my 2nd semester in college, I found out I don't know, science was not really my calling. I didn't really enjoy it. And so I went back into what I originally wanted was to go into law. And so I switched my major. I did political science and legal studies and graduated with those 2 degrees. And I wasn't sure that law school was ultimately what I wanted to do. So I didn't pursue law school immediately right after undergrad. I decided to go to the paralegal route just to make sure that it's something I want to commit to because law school is very expensive. It's another 3 years of school and, I already went to school for so long. I just want to make sure that that's the commitment that I will want for the rest of my life. So that's why I did the paralegal route and that's why I'm a paralegal because I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm not 100% certain, but it's still something that I'm really passionate about and that I love doing. So we'll see.
Yay, very cool. So for somebody like me who has heard the term paralegal but has honestly zero idea
Yeah.
what you do, tell it, what do you do?
So in short, a paralegal does everything that an attorney does except represent clients in court.
Okay.
So we cannot provide legal advice. We can provide legal help, like information, like if like, for example, if
But you
someone
can't be
has,
like,
this is
they
what
not
you should do.
guilty.
Yeah. Or like, oh, you're right, they're wrong. This is what you should do and this is what you shouldn't do. It's more like, oh, this is what the situation is. This is what the law, how you can apply the law, stuff like that.
Okay.
And obviously can't be in court and represent a client. So I kind of do the background work. So all of like the paperwork, the filing, the research, and all of that, and then put it together for the attorneys.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So do you work on any kind of, to kind of put two and two together with the coroner thing, do you work on any like homicide cases or crazy stuff like that?
Unfortunately, I don't. That would be really cool. But my firm right now, we do mainly civil litigation. So that's just civil law, not criminal. So like breach of contract, intellectual property, stuff like that. So
would you be into criminal law?
I would, yes.
Girl, get in there.
I know, but it's hard.
Guess what? You know what? Life is hard whether you're struggling or you're not. So
yeah, I know. It's just, this was the job that I got right after paralegal school. And so I've been here at this firm about like 2 years now. So I just wanted to get some experience first before I can like branch out, because getting an entry-level paralegal job is actually very competitive. So I just wanted to get my foot through the door first before I start, working towards finding what my actual interests are in the legal field. Yeah.
Very cool. Okay. So more about dead bodies. So one of my favorite places in Thailand, actually, it's in Bangkok, is called the Museum of Death. Have you been there?
I was born in Bangkok, but no, I have never been there.
Well, you have to go. So like one thing I like super love before I go anywhere is to plan where I'm going, like to a T, like I want to go here, here, and here.
Oh my God, I'm literally the same way. I have an itinerary on Google Drive.
I have a Google Doc.
I share to all of the people on the trip with me, and then they think I'm crazy because I plan every minute of every day. Like even my sleeping times.
I love you. I love you.
Like my time, like, I have 30 minutes in the morning to get ready, and then we have to leave the hotel or whatever, like on the dot, and then people are like, what? I'm like, but the point for me is like when I travel, I want to get the most out of it. So I don't want to waste a minute like not knowing what to do, figuring out where to eat when it could be all prepared in advance.
Exactly. No, so I'm the same way. I don't think I plan out my sleep time necessarily, but no, I like to have like an idea of, okay, these things are close to each other, let's put them together on this dot. No, my friends love it. Are you kidding me? I feel like most people don't like to plan. So to have somebody who does and is on top of it and it's like, okay, like they're like, what do we do now? And you're like, oh, I already got it. Like to me, that's a blessing.
Yeah.
So I love that you're like that too, because I super am. But so one of my favorite things that I did in Thailand sounds so weird, but it was called the Museum of Death. It's called like Siriraj something medical center. But you took the little ferry across the river in Bangkok, and you go over there, and it's like a couple part museum. Like you walk across one street and everything, but it's huge, and it's literally just like dead bodies pickled, and it sounds like gross, obviously, but it's not. Like, guess what? Like life, if you live life, death is inevitable, you know? So basically, they have all these babies with all like every kind of deformity you could ever imagine, just like for medical observation in, what do you call it? Like pickle jars, not pickle jars, but what is it?
I don't know, apothecary? Is that what it is?
Yeah, like stuff like that. Like they have like all different kinds of skeletons of people with like dwarfism to giantism to, they have like a thing where it's like worms that people get, and like all like it's just like every way to die possible.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's so crazy, but to me that's fascinating because like I feel like in the US like we don't have anything like that, but it's a little less censorship. Yeah. And in that regard there, you know what I mean? So definitely recommend if you're into weird stuff like I am, Museum of Death in Thailand.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool actually.
I think you would like that. Like it would be right up your alley.
I mean, it would be like creepy, but like informative, cool, if that makes sense.
You could touch a brain. They also had like a foot that just had the tendons and stuff that you could touch. I did not touch either. Listen, I will puke. As long as it's like encased and I can't really like smell it or anything. I'm a big like something smells weird. If I see somebody throw up, like I will throw up. But for some reason that stuff doesn't bother me that way because it's just observational. It's
Yeah.
so crazy. Like they'd even have people just like their like chopped in half so you could see like the inside of a thigh, or like it's so crazy.
Yeah.
Who thought of this? And also who's like, you know, keeping it going? But there was tons and tons of people there. So yeah, like obviously once again there are weirdos like us in the world.
Yeah.
So yeah, so cheers to them
Yeah.
and us, huh? Mm. Okay, so why don't we get into what some of your favorite places to travel are?
So I actually mostly I travel within the US
Okay.
because of my work. I'm not able to get, long time off. So it's hard to travel internationally. So I usually just go, somewhere within the United States. So I'll take like weekend trips here and there or something like that. But for me, I love places that I can consider like having an adventure. So I'm not really like the typical sightseeing person, like seeing like architecture, buildings, and monuments and stuff. Like I like hands-on adventure activities. So hiking, skydiving, zip lining, boat rides, like stuff like that I consider like an adventure. So usually it would be places that are more in like the countryside and not necessarily like in the city. So ironically, people think I'm a city girl, but I'm really not. Like I love the country.
Okay,
So
do you like country music?
I don't like country music actually.
Okay, all right. That's awesome. I love adventures too. I recently just went to like, have you been to the Grand Canyon?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
So yeah, I did the Grand Canyon, Sedona. Those were like, okay, have you been to Cathedral Rock in Sedona?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so that's like a perfect hike for me because it is short. Like I like hikes, but to be honest, like if I want like a workout, I want to work out inside in a gym with air conditioning and like sweat my ass off.
Yeah.
But like I don't want to like fall down in the dirt and, let's be honest, break a nail. Like I that happened to me. This is like a real story.
But what if it's like a hike where it's like one of the best views that you can only see if you go on that hike?
Well, of course. Of course I want to do that.
Okay.
But so it's like we have to like plan that out.
Yeah.
After, like we have to have snacks, also water.
Yeah. Of course.
Possibly a joint. Like, you know, like this needs to be a well-rounded hike for me.
Okay.
Cause yeah, no, of course the view is what we go for, and like breaking a sweat and all that. But yeah, I don't need to do it all the time.
Okay.
So okay, so what is your number one most favorite place?
I guess I would have to just say Vietnam because not biased because I'm Vietnamese, but because I've been there the most out of any other places or out of all the places that I've been to. And the thing that I like most about Vietnam is every time that I go there, I'm always visiting a different place, and it's just still exciting to me. Like I can't get like old and tired of it. Like for example, like Vegas, I've been there a lot too, but like after a while things do get boring and dull, and like I've just done so many things there already, whereas I feel completely different when it comes to Vietnam. So
okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so you're from there, all that. So tell us like what is some food that you have to eat when you go to Vietnam?
Oh, that's so hard. Everything pretty much. I feel like everything there is a lot better than like what you can have here. That it's not even comparable. But definitely street food. Like it might look gross and it might be intimidating to a lot of people, but I don't know, just homemade authentic like street food they hit the spot.
So what specific like street food? Because for me, like one thing that I do plan on my little Google Doc drive when I go is like I look up like, because I don't know, first of all, I definitely obviously don't speak or read Vietnamese or Thai. So before I go, I want to make sure I'm like, what is a food that I need to try? Because if not, I'm gonna be like, what the hell is this? And I could end up with like a frog dick or something. Like I just don't know. So like what is what is something that like a couple things that you have to eat? Like what are the names of them?
Yeah, so I like this dish called a Vietnamese pancake. I don't know if you ever had it before, but it's basically a Vietnamese version of like the traditional French crepe, but it's savory. And it's made with like flour instead of like egg and dough and stuff like that. And you can put a lot of different ingredients in there, but commonly people would put shrimp, beef or pork, and bean sprouts, stuff like that. And then you would just roll it up in like a lettuce wrap and dip it in fish sauce. And that's one of my favorite dishes because it's really hard to find here in the US. A lot of the Vietnamese restaurants, they actually don't serve authentic traditional Vietnamese courses. It's all just like pho and like other noodle soups.
Okay, fun noodle soup. So what is the Vietnamese pancake called?
It's called bánh xèo.
Say again?
Bánh xèo.
Bun sale.
Yeah.
Okay, you were disappointed. I tried.
It's hard because I feel like there's like a dialect in the Vietnamese language, so it's hard for like native English speakers to kind of hit it. Yeah, so it's not like
You're all that's fine.
It's not like you're like completely off. I feel like that's the best that you can do because of that. Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. So there's one, and then what else? What's a really good Vietnamese dessert?
Oh, dessert. There's great. So there's this thing called the 3-color dessert. That's just literally the literal translation of it because it's hard to translate Vietnamese to English, like, you know. But it's a tricolor, like, different dessert with coconut milk. So you'll have like mung bean, red bean, and I don't really know the English definition or how to say it, but it's like a green like tapioca jelly. So you have the red from the red bean, the yellow from the mung bean, and the green, and then on top it's coconut milk, and then you mix in with ice. And that's one of my favorite like desserts there. It's really good.
Nice. Okay.
And it's not as sweet as people think. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, not too unhealthy for you.
Love that. Okay, and then what about, does Vietnam have any special like cocktails or drinks that you guys love, or even like breakfast drinks?
I'm not sure about cocktails actually, but a famous drink is the traditional Vietnamese coffee.
Yeah.
So it's just coffee with condensed milk, basically. Okay. And I feel like a lot of people really like it when they try it. So yeah, and it's strong. Vietnamese coffee is really strong.
We need that. Love that.
Yeah.
Because one of my like biggest problems when I traveled Thailand and Bali was that they don't do like iced coffee, or maybe they do, but I couldn't do it because they say not to drink like the ice of other places. So I needed like caffeine in the morning so bad, and that was something I had to sacrifice. So yeah, I did like green tea and stuff like that too, but
it's not the same.
It's not the same. No, it's definitely not. So definitely, okay, Vietnamese coffee on the list for sure.
Yes.
Okay, so what must sights see, or what are some sights to see in Vietnam?
So there's actually this really cool small island off of Vietnam that people don't really know. It's called Phu Quoc Island. It's super small, but it has one of the most like clean beaches because there's not a lot of tourism there. So it's all just like locals, and they don't really go to the beach that much, so it's empty pretty much. And I really like it because it's not like the typical kind of like beachy destinations you would go to. It's not like a resort either, so it's really calm and quiet and a great way to like escape like mainland. I also really like the desert. There's this place called Mui Nea. It literally looks like somewhere like in the Middle East. It's like red sand dunes. And what I liked was really fun is that you can just get like this carpet and just slide down the sand.
Really?
Yeah.
Like a magic carpet ride?
Yeah, pretty much, except it doesn't fly.
Well, it's a whole new world for me, girl.
Yeah.
So. Okay, super fun. Wait, so that's super cool. Okay, what else?
And then there's just like a lot of really unique towns like in the mountains. So people don't know this, but it actually snows in Vietnam in the mountains.
I had no idea.
Yeah, so there's this city called Dalat. It's up in like the middle northern Vietnam. It's way up in the mountains, and during their winter season, it does snow. It's really cold, and it's really cool. It's just like a small little like quaint town up in the mountains where it's like kind of hard to get to. I just think it's pretty unique.
Can you ski? Do you ski there?
No, it's not like a mountain where
there's not that much snow?
Yeah, that much snow. It's like just like covering barely the rooftop and like the ground kind of snow.
Okay.
Yeah, like that.
Okay. Nice. Do you ski or snowboard here?
Yes, I do. I love skiing and snowboard. I travel to ski and snowboard.
Yeah, totally. Like where? Where's your favorite place to go?
Whistler, Canada.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I have been wanting to go to Canada. So Whistler, have you been anywhere else in Canada?
Only Vancouver. I want to go to Toronto, but it's just matter of when. But yeah, I've only been to Vancouver.
Nice. Okay, so yeah, tell me about that actually. Let's divert a little
Yeah,
bit.
so okay, weirdly, my friend studied abroad in Canada, which I thought was a shocker. It's like, out of all places, why would you pick Canada? It's literally our neighbor, and you can pick a faraway country to study abroad
I've
in.
heard Canadians are really nice, eh?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
But so she studied abroad in Canada, and I told her I was going to visit her because she was, going to school there. And I did that the end of my finals during the fall semester. And so it was snowing up there. And one of the things that we decided to do was to, go to Whistler and learn how to ski. This was our first time. Neither of us knew how to ski or snowboard. And so we went our first time. And we tried skiing because we heard it was easier to learn first than snowboarding.
I learned how to ski first, but it's not easier. I don't think.
I think it's easier to ski, but I love snowboarding more. So that's why I snowboard now.
Okay, wait. All right.
Yeah. So we learned how to ski. She still has difficulty with it, but I learned it, figured it out in one day, but it just wasn't for me. So then the next time that I went somewhere like a ski resort, I chose snowboarding, and then I taught myself how to snowboard, and so now I snowboard. And I bought my own snowboard, and for places,
now you're big time, sister.
And so with places that I travel to during like the snow season, I bring my snowboard and try to fit in my itinerary to go snowboarding. Yeah.
Okay, love that. Yeah, so Canada is super high on my list. I really want to go to Banff.
Oh, yes. Oh my God.
It looks so beautiful.
Yeah, so
beautiful. I have so many, most of my Instagram, saved archive pictures on my feed are, places to travel, cool pictures to take, stuff
same.
like that. And I have so many of Banff. It looks beautiful.
Yeah.
And yeah, one of my good friends actually, who he has traveled all over. He actually just recently lived in Australia, New Zealand. He lived in Vietnam for a while as well. Taught English. He's like, oh, I'm just gonna go, and he ended up staying out there for 4 or 5 years, just traveling all over.
Yeah.
But he said one of his favorite trips ever was to Canada. He actually got a maple leaf tattoo.
Oh, nice.
Because he loved it so much.
Yeah.
So I maybe wouldn't have chosen Canada to study abroad in either, but there must be something to it. People love it.
It's great. I feel like it's really great country. It's even though it's our neighbor, it's different. And I feel like it's a lot different here. So I kind of like that.
Totally. Yeah, I need to go. Okay, so that's on the list, especially since right now, I think we could probably go there. I don't know about with the restrictions, but hopefully soon enough they will be lifted. Yeah. So on the list. Okay, so yeah, back to Vietnam. Is there anything else about there that you want to share? So what's that one bay? How long?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. So Ha Long Bay, it was one of the most recent places that I visited when I was in Vietnam, and it's really cool because it's a very popular movie site. So King Kong was filmed there and stuff like that, and it has one of the best views ever. It literally feels like you're not even on Earth anymore. Something that is just created in the movies that's not even real. But when I was there, it was just, I don't know, I was mesmerized. It's so beautiful. I did a little boat adventure cruise. So they took us out, and then we did some kayaking, and then they found a small little island in the middle of the bay and docked there, and then we just hung out on the little beach. But it's really beautiful. Definitely on my top list of recommendations if you're ever in Vietnam.
All right, how long we put it on the list?
Yes.
For sure. Okay, so then what's next after Vietnam?
Yeah.
As far as places that you love.
So I've only been to Hawaii once, but I love it because I'm a huge hiker. I was gonna tell you, so I recently did a 16-mile hike to this place called Big Pine Lake. And it's literally exactly like Banff.
Okay.
I posted the pictures and people were like, oh, is that Banff? I was like, no, it's here in California, because it literally looks exactly there's snow on the mountains. It's a glacier lake. It's so beautiful, bright turquoise water.
So when you say 16 miles, do you mean there? Or there and back?
There and back.
Okay.
So it's 8 miles there, 8 miles back.
How long did it take you?
The whole day, pretty much. We started before sunrise, around 5:45, and we got back around 3-ish, 4.
Okay, and then were you ready for the floor? I'm sorry, that's a long day.
Yeah, I knocked out.
Yeah, I'm sure. Okay, and so how far away is it from San Diego?
It's really far. So we went up there.
No, it's really far.
It's really far. So originally the whole plan was we went to Mammoth for my birthday. It was a birthday thing that I wanted to do, was to hike that hike. So we went to Mammoth, and it's only about an hour away from Mammoth.
Okay.
So you can easily just...
And you just had your birthday, correct?
Correct.
August 21st. Okay, and happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Woo-hoo. So once again, kindred soul, for my birthday every year, I want to go somewhere new.
Yes.
So, you know, it was quarantine this year, so I went to Lake Tahoe.
Okay, yeah.
Like a little bit after my birthday, which was cool. And then I've been a couple other places, like drivable distance as well. But yeah, that like, it's a new year of my life. I want to go to a new place.
Yep. Exactly. That's what I feel too. So I haven't been to Mammoth, surprisingly.
I haven't either.
But that's what I did.
It's a long drive. Wait, so you said, so sorry, continue. So you said it is where? It's by Mammoth?
It's by Mammoth. It's an hour away from Mammoth.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you went there and you stopped and you're like, you didn't go all the way to Mammoth?
No, we went to Mammoth.
Okay.
We stayed there. That's where we got our hotel. And then during that trip, like that long weekend, one of the things we did was that hike.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Cool. And so how many people did you go on the hike with?
Oh, just one with my boyfriend. That's it. It was just the two of us. Yeah.
Nice little intimate trip.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. And so what's your favorite way to travel? Like, have you ever traveled by yourself?
Actually, I haven't. I'm kind of scared to, actually. I feel like I've always traveled with somebody, and I feel like it's more fun to travel with someone. You can like share, you know, your experiences and your adventures with them. So I haven't done that yet.
That's what Instagram's for, baby. I share it with everyone. But I love to travel like with a group of friends, also with just like, I've gone with just one girlfriend. So it was me and one of my best friends, Marissa. We went to Thailand and Bali together, which was great. But one of my latest things that I love to do is just travel by myself. And so I was the same way as you. And that's why, honestly, I started this podcast, is because I want young women, especially like young men too, of course, like no discrimination here, but like young women, because like you said, I don't feel like it's safe because we're women, you know, like, especially with what's going on in the world today, all this like young girl human sex trafficking, it's fucking crazy. No, like I will be damned if someone's taking me anywhere. So of course, like going into it, I like have that in mind. I did all my research, but there are so many, like you are a, you know, travel blogger, influencer thing too. So I read so many different blogs about women that are like, no, just be careful. Like, make sure you're mindful of the culture where you're going. So you're wearing things that are appropriate. Any tip that I have for a woman that is considering going anywhere by themselves is study the culture first. Make sure you know that what you're wearing is going to be appropriate. You know, as far as like how much skin you're showing, a lot of places, especially historical sites you want to go to, you got to cover up your tits for sure, but your shoulders, your knees, sometimes your toes. So you have to make sure that you're ready to go in that sense. But yeah, traveling alone, like you said, you're like, oh, you want someone to share the experiences with. Like I said, I love, like I share them and people, like I get so much good feedback, which like makes me happy. My friends are always like, oh, I wish I was there with you. But why I like to travel solo is because a lot of times, like my friends can't go the same times I can go places, you know? And so like, I don't want to look back on my life and think I wanted to go all these places and I had the money and the opportunity and the time to, and I didn't because I had no one to go with. Like, you know, like life is about, you know, no road is long with good company. I think I'm great company. I love my alone time. I'm an only child anyway. So like I grew up with like a best friend who was like my sister. And so it's not, I don't feel like an only child, but at the same time, like I super value my alone time. I like to reflect. So when I do travel, I stay in hostels when I'm by myself at least. And that way I can meet other people if I want to, or if I don't want to, I can just go about my day, wake up, and I already have my day planned. So there's really like, I will put in some room for me to go do other things that I want to do, like, oh, like explore or whatever. But most of the time I'm like, cool, I'm going to go see this site. I'm going to eat at this place. And then I have met some amazing people along the way just because I like believed in the universe that it was going to bring me the best day possible. So yeah, so I do understand, like, once again, my dad was even like, Chelsea, like, you're going to go travel by yourself? And I was like, I'm like, yeah, like, you know, he's like, I never would think to do that, but if anyone can do it, it's you. And so that's the energy we need. And that's the energy you need to give yourself. If anyone can do it, it's me. If not me, then who? Yeah. If not now, then when? Yeah. And so, yeah, I took my first solo trip about a year ago, and it's like totally changed my life. And I recommend it for everybody. So you too, I think that like the first place I went was Rome, which I'll say probably like on the surface level doesn't seem like the safest place. But at the same time, I'm like, it's the eternal city. There's people everywhere. I was staying at the #1 hostel in Rome. And just if you've been to one hostel, you kind of get the gist that like so many people travel solo. So like it makes you kind of just, one, feel like you are in a community of kindred spirits, but two, you're like, if these people can do this, why can't I? Yeah. I've met people like, even in Thailand, like girls that were traveling by themselves for like 6 months at a time. why can't I go wherever I want? You know, it's just about being safe, being aware, not getting like, you know, having a couple drinks, not getting too drunk. That's like the number one recipe for disaster and death. If you want to end up in the Museum of Death in Thailand, then you do that. But yeah, no. So I definitely recommend that. And yeah, so travel solo, see the world, but also if you have friends you want to go with, do that too.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. I see your points. They're really good points. I think it's just, for me, I don't think I had that opportunity to. I mean, it is, yeah, like, you know, it's also about control. Like, you can do it if you want to, but I think it was just, like, time-wise, again, that, and then financially and stuff like that. So, I mean, I think I will one day. I feel like it's a great way for me to, like, self-discover myself as well.
Yes.
And I do support people who, you know, take on solo trips, but I think it's just, for me, I just haven't had the opportunity or the chance to do it yet.
You know, like you said, you didn't have the opportunity, but sometimes you got to create your own opportunities. And that's kind of what I did. Like, I went through this crazy breakup. And so obviously, like, you want to go travel with somebody that you are dating or you're interested in, whatever. But I went through this breakup and then I sold $1 million house. So I also was like, fuck you. I'm going to create my own opportunity. And so that's what I did. You know, like I hadn't thought about it before, but a good friend of mine and ended up being my new roommate. She was like, I travel solo all the time. Go do it. And so I was so glad that I did. I kind of just took a chance. I found a really cheap flight, like one of my favorite tips. And I saw that you love to do this too, is I love to get cheap flights.
Me too.
Oh my God. Like I will sit there on a private window on Google Flights for an hour and look like, and round trip isn't the way to go, guys. You got to do
one way and then book the other
one way, book the other way. And then if you have any mid trips, like do those completely separately because like sometimes like a flight from when I was in Thailand, for example, from like Krabi to not even Phuket, we took a car, but like, okay, from like Chiang Mai to Bangkok was like $30.
Yes, yeah.
So it's just like, you have to be really resourceful. Don't just like go buy like a round trip and like all this stuff. Like, no, take your time, find your flights. Like you can find it for so cheap. And so for me, it's almost like a high, like finding cheap flights, finding like the cheapest accommodation, but the nicest as well. Like I don't want to stay in like a shithole. Yeah. But I want to stay somewhere I feel safe, that I know has like a good reputation, good reviews. And yeah, so before we started talking about the travel, if you want to do it solo or not, we were talking about Hawaii, correct?
Yes.
So today we are actually drinking a Hawaii/Thai inspired drink, a Mai Tai. So cheers. Thank you, because this is actually one of my favorite drinks. I'm so glad that we're drinking this in your honor today.
Actually, this was my first legal drink that I had when I turned 21.
No way.
In Vegas. Yeah, it was a Mai Tai.
You know what? A Mai Tai is like, that is such a funny, like, to me, it's kind of like an old person drink, I feel like.
Yeah, because it's sweet and it's like,
well, it's so tropical. Like, to me, it's like a tropical vacation. It reminds me of like my dad wearing a Tommy Bahama shirt, literally, because when the first like 2 or 3 times I went to Hawaii was with my dad, and my dad loves Mai Tais. Yeah. The only time I ever seen that man pray to the porcelain god was after a couple of these bad boys. Yeah. I actually got these cups, if you'd like to know, in Hawaii. Oh, they're so cute. Thank you. Yeah. So my little tiki men. So yeah, my family loves Maui. I've been to Maui about 5 times. I've been to Oahu and Kona. And been to Hawaii altogether 6 times. But so Oahu is great. I would love to go back. It's a little more city-like. Yes. They do have some hikes and stuff, but I would definitely recommend you go to Maui on your next trip out there. Yeah. Yeah, so Maui, it's also like flights are super cheap, and especially now that Southwest has flights there. I actually
just booked flights to Hawaii for only $97.
You did?
For November. But that's just dependent on, you know, the things, because it's easily cancelable, but I just bought it because it was a great opportunity. The prices were cheap. And, you know, worst case scenario, I can always cancel.
Did you say $97?
Yes, $97.
Okay, wait, which island?
Oahu.
Again, okay, well, you can island hop over. Do you just want to stay there?
No, we're gonna island hop. Yeah, we're gonna be there for like 6 days. So I think that's enough time to like go to
6 days is perfect in Hawaii. Yeah. I'd say 6 or 7, but like by the 7th day, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, it's so hot and humid there.
It's so hot and humid. But it's great. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I want to just lay on the beach, drink Mai Tais, eat fresh pineapple. Oh my God. The pineapple, the fruit in Hawaii is just so different. I always get like a pineapple perfume even. Like, it's just so amazing.
Yeah. It is.
Man, I wish I want to live there for maybe like a month and just get like really brown and then, you know.
Come back.
Yeah, come back. But so okay, so how you said 6 days and just you and your boyfriend, or
Yes, yeah.
okay, just because
Actually, we will be celebrating our 1 year anniversary.
1 year.
So.
Okay, well, so that's a good transition, sister. So, how did we meet Mr. Mans?
So we met on a dating app. I actually don't remember exactly whether it was Bumble or Tinder. I was on both, but on
Ooh,
one
girl.
of those, one of those apps is how we met. Yeah.
Okay. So here's a good question I want to ask. So I actually I had Tinder for like literally 2 days, probably like 4 years ago, and I met this one guy on there. He was really sweet, but ended up being too sweet, so he was out. But I like literally met him,
Yeah.
and then like 2 days later, I deleted the app a long time ago, whatever. Then recently I got Hinge. One of my tips I always talk about for everyone listening is to get a dating app if you're traveling solo.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So when I went on a trip to London, Ireland, and Scotland.
Okay.
And London, I was there for a week with two of my girlfriends. So that was like, I didn't get a dating app then. I was with them the whole time.
Yeah.
But then I flew to Scotland and I was by myself. So the day before I went to Scotland, got a Hinge. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be in Scotland. And so once again, because I'm a crazy person, I had planned places that I wanted to go, like craft cocktail places. So every episode we do a craft cocktail. And one of the reasons is because when I travel, I love to find cool little like hidden bars, like with like different, like cool, specific to that place vibe. And so met this guy in Scotland from Hinge. We still talk all the time. Like he obviously it's like not realistic, but it was a super fun, like we went out. He took me to a couple of the bars I'd wanted to go to, and it was a good way to like get a preview of what you're getting into. And also you can send your mother credentials. Like it's not like it's different than like you meet somebody just randomly. At a bar, you don't know anything about them. They could be whoever. But so what I kind of like about a dating app is it's a preview. Got back, I obviously switched it back over to San Diego, now it's Scotland. And I met somebody. We were like dating for the better part of quarantine, but then that went to shit. So deleted, or obviously like way back when we started talking, like deleted the app, the Hinge app. But then I was like, you know what? Fuck this. Like, I'm ready to go on some dates. Girls gotta eat. So I got a Bumble. But the one thing that I thought was kind of weird when I got my Bumble is that I only like to have one dating app at a time because I'm already overwhelmed with one. Like, seriously, like I even remember the first day I got Hinge, I had like 150 matches within an hour, like people that like you within an hour. So on 2 apps, like I would just
it's overwhelming.
When you have too many things to do, so you don't do any of them. That's what that's like for me. And so to me it was weird because got Bumble, and on Bumble, so once again I deleted Hinge, but people don't forget, and I like so many dudes that had tried to like get at me on Hinge tried to get at me on Bumble, and I'm like, you guys need something more to do with your time. No offense, but I'm like, why do you have so many apps? Like, so to me, why did you have 2?
So for me, my understanding was based on my experience with apps is that sometimes there's different people. Like, sometimes they overlap.
And there's a lot of the same.
Yeah. But I find that there's some people who, like, people have bad experiences. For example, if someone had a bad experience with Tinder, they're going to avoid Tinder and go to another app. And being on that app, you will only see them on that app and not on Tinder, if that makes sense. So that's why I feel like I would find someone that's not. And so I kind of what I do is I weed out the people I see on multiple apps. Like I won't match with them.
But it's you.
I know, but it is me.
But it's you.
Yeah.
See, that's funny. Okay, so I wanted a girl's opinion because or a girl who does that too, because for me, I only like had one, and I get what you're saying, but at the same, for me, I'm like, no, you were like that's exactly why. I'm like, you're all over the place. Like you're fishing for whatever you can. And girls, we like, anyone we swipe right on, it's usually like, we're like, okay.
Yeah.
But so that's a kind of a weird thing for me with dating apps. But besides that, I will say that Hinge is probably my favorite. And then like Bumble's been cool, but the only thing is like you have to say stuff first.
Yeah, you have to initiate it.
I run out of shit to say, man. I don't want to say, hey, what's cracking? No, I wouldn't say that. That's weird. But I don't want to say, hey, what's up, or like anything like that. You know what I mean? They do have like a new question game, which is kind of fun. But so you met your man on one of the dating apps.
Yeah.
So what is a tip for anyone who is using dating apps to wrangle a dangle? Like how'd you find one that stuck?
So for me, for like based on my experience, it might sound kind of bad, depending on who like hears this, but
Fuck them.
but what worked for me was when I was single is to date multiple guys, not like be in committed relationships and like sleep around, but like get to know multiple people at once because that way you kind of figure out what works for you and what doesn't, and just kind of being like open-minded and flexible and just go with the flow. Like, don't be like, oh, I need to find this certain guy, like this certain personality. Just like take it all in, absorb it, and then process it, and then, apply it.
So how many dates have you gone on in a week?
Oh, I'm really selective. So maybe like 2 dates a month.
2 dates a month? Okay.
Yeah. Plus, I'm also very busy, and that's why I do dating apps because I'm a pretty busy person.
Well, yeah, once again, you want to preview. You want to
Yeah.
make sure, okay, is this something I'm going to be into? Like that kind of
Yeah.
thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so then why did you choose your current boyfriend over any of the multiple guys that you were seeing?
Funny story, actually. I was going to friend zone him first because I was seeing multiple guys at once. But I don't know, I felt like I wanted to give him more, like another, like to get to know him more. And I did. And I ended up liking him because I gave him that chance. So that's what I mean by saying like be open-minded, because I thought a certain way from like the beginning, but I wanted to give him another chance because the first or second date doesn't necessarily mean like that's the kind of person they are. It maybe they're like nervous or something could have happened to affect.
We see that a lot. We see a lot of nervousness on the
exactly.
first. Yeah.
So it might take people a while to like open up and be vulnerable and like share with you. And so I feel like it might not be like the first couple of dates. It might be like a few down the road.
Well, how far down the road? Because like you said, I'm a busy gal, so
yeah, it was more like 5 or 6. Yeah.
Holy smokes! Had you guys kissed?
No.
Holy shit! What were you guys doing?
Just hanging out, like mini golf, movies,
Okay.
dinner, watching sunsets, stuff like that.
It's really precious. Well, like that, I'm glad that it's stuck.
Yeah.
Okay, and what about the other busters that didn't make the cut? Like they weren't mini golfing you up? Like what?
No. I'm a really like blunt and open person, so I just told them straight up like, oh, I was seeing someone else the same time I was seeing you, and I'm sorry it's not working out.
Oh, I
And
love
that's
that.
it.
I mean, I pulled
because
that
I don't like ghosting. Like, I don't want to be ghosted, so I'm not gonna ghost someone. I think that's the dumbest thing. Cheers to
Yes, bitch. I love that. So,
plus when you ghost them, they keep contacting you. Whereas when you just tell them straight up, they're like, okay,
because then they're a ghost. Then they haunt you.
Yeah.
If you ghost them, they haunt you. They keep coming around your peripheral. They're trying to get back in there. If you could just say,
yeah,
then it'll be okay.
Exactly.
So I agree. So we talk about on the show all the time, like, don't ghost people. Sometimes I will say, because like I don't like ghosting people, but it is so hard. So like recently, sometimes it's because you don't like.
You don't know what to say.
Well, no, but like I have said the line before. I've been like, hey, I actually, have been seeing somebody, or like I started seeing somebody, and that's where I'm at. I think you're great. Wish you the best. Take care. Like I've said stuff like that before.
Yeah.
But then like there's this one guy that I went out with recently, and he was like super sweet. He brought me, when he came to pick me up, brought me flowers.
Aww.
The flowers had chili peppers in it, which was kind of weird. I asked him why. He said, because you're hot. I'm like, wow. So we go to dinner. I'll never forget that. It was really cute.
Yeah.
So we go to dinner, and he says some weird stuff about his childhood, which is like, like, I'm all for being an open book, but also let's like, let's wait till the end for the cliffhanger. Sorry, like I don't need to hear all that. But then super nice. I did not wish to continue seeing this person, and he was attacking me from every peripheral, right? It was like Snapchat, Instagram, text. And so he like, but I didn't ghost him in the sense of like, he texted me the next day, was like, oh, I had so much fun. I was like, oh, me too. Thank you. But like nothing more. And then like he responded to a couple of my Instagram stories and was like, wondering when I'm going to see you next. And I just like, dude, are you wondering? Because you know that you're not going to. So, but like, so that is my most recent thing where I don't think it was ghosting, because once again, I'd respond to him, like some of the things he'd say to my Instagram story and stuff. But I went on one date. So, but like, I think it's rude to just not say anything at all after. Like, I responded like to
Yeah.
things he was saying, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think it's weird after like if it's been like a couple weeks or whatever to not say anything. Then that's just plain rude. Like, doesn't do any good for you either to like leave people hanging like that. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
Because people have feelings too.
And also,
so-
you never know. Guess what? Down the road, you go to apply for a job, and that's that motherfucker's dad, bitch. Like, you know, like, I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
like, be kind, rewind, think about it, okay? Think
Yeah.
about what you're gonna say to people. Be kind, do unto others as you'd want them to do unto you.
Exactly.
And yeah, so like I totally recommend seeing multiple people at once. I actually recently was seeing somebody who I liked. We were hanging out like multiple times a week, and then communication kind of stopped for like a couple days, and I was like, okay, fine, whatever, because once again, the treasure doesn't do the hunting. And then this bitch has the audacity to hit me up like, hey, what you doing? Not you, sir. Like,
Yeah.
no, like we need consistency. But once again, it is kind of weird because with dating apps, like one thing you have to realize is that on a dating app, people are also talking to other people.
Yes.
Which is like kind of a hard pill to swallow. Not really for me, honestly, but if you do catch feelings for somebody or you start to like somebody and then you're like, okay, what's going on? But I think like you and I had talked about a little bit earlier, just to be, keep yourself level-headed in the sense that like, don't take it too seriously. Like, wait on it. Like you said, wait a couple, like 5-6 dates down the road. Doesn't, to me, sorry, I gotta test out the lips, but like, you know, I gotta see if they're a good kisser. Cause if not, like, it is ass out island for you, sir. But yeah, cause okay, one of my biggest turnoffs, unfortunately, is if you don't have lips. You need a little something to squish on. But anyway, yeah. So I say date multiple people, but don't get too crazy. Don't get your hopes up. And then, so was your guy like talking to multiple people? Have you guys talked about it at all?
He actually wasn't.
No?
Yeah. So it's like with me, like when I see people, I'm pretty upfront, and like that's the thing too that helps me weed out the guys is like if they're not comfortable with my honesty, perfect, like you're clear cut, go. That's how I like figure it out. So like from the very beginning, like I told him and then I asked him too, so he knew where I stood and I knew where he stood, so we were both able to like move forward from that. So that's how our relationship kind of progressed. Communication
heals the nation, baby. That's all I gotta say about that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so and do you have any other friends that like currently use dating apps or?
I don't know. I feel like a lot of people use it like on and off because they've had like bad experiences or they haven't found the one. So it's kind of just like they're just on it like when they want to be and not really like actively using it, if that makes sense.
Okay, so yeah, I see that. But for me, I'm somebody who likes to like delete them like once I either am like over it or I have, you know, met somebody, obviously.
Yeah.
But okay, so your tip is to date multiple people. Would you say do multiple dating apps or?
I don't know. I think it's just depending on your own preference. Like how, like kind of like what you were saying, like would you like it if other people have it?
No, I wouldn't like to hear a friend be like, yeah, I saw that guy on Tinder yesterday. I'd be like, well, Tinder is going to hinder your ability to get up in this. So goodbye, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so love that. So on kind of an ending note, do you have any just like relationship advice in general? Like what has made you and your boyfriend, you said you guys are celebrating your 1-year anniversary, which congratulations, that's really exciting.
Thank you.
Yeah, what's like something like relationship advice that you would have for men and for women?
Yeah, I think honesty and communication would be my biggest two because I feel like when most relationships go wrong, it has to do with one of those. It's either someone didn't trust one another or something like they didn't communicate with one another about something and then it kind of blew up from there. So I think those two are something that, yeah, I think is really important in a solid, you know, relationship.
Okay, solid relationship. Love that. Okay, and then any parting travel advice for anyone?
Yeah, I think for me, mainly would just be like, try something new everywhere you go. Like, I understand like people are comfortable with what they know. And the thing about traveling is experiencing something new. So I find it really funny. It's just me personally, so you can think of it differently. But like, if you go to, let's say, for example, an Asian country, don't go to like a Western restaurant. You know what I'm saying? Like something like that.
Street food. Or,
yeah, like just try something new. Like, you're there for the experience. So, like, you don't have to love it. You might try it, but then you learn that you don't like it because you tried it. So, yeah, that's my tip.
So try new things. Make sure that you are testing the waters when it comes to wanderlust and your love life.
Yes.
And live life to the fullest.
Yeah.
Phuong, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you guys, and we'll see you next time on Up to Date.